Hello, welcome to Casual Veteran Gamer, and in the video today I'm going to be showing you a Warlock build that isn't based on Eldritch Blast. The idea was given to me during a stream I had. What you want to do is pick your favourite charisma race. I'm going to go for high half elf so I can pick up an extra cantrip, being friends, but any of the charisma races will do, so half elf, lightfoot halfling, human, drow, tiefling, whatever your favourite flavour of race is. Change this back to friends. If you're choosing high half elf or wood half elf, I'd go for +1 dexterity and constitution. Warlock, we will take Eldritch Blast, and we'll take a slightly controversial choice, poison spray. That isn't the main point of the build, but it's just an alternative way of doing damage in the build. For spells, hex, definitely always going to be useful. Maybe Hellish Rebuke or Armor of Agathis, whatever you want, but Armor of Agathis will fall away. For skills, whatever you want. For combat, having athletics or acrobatics will help against being shoved, so maybe you want to change your origin. For abilities, put charisma at 17. I'm going to pick up Volo's Ersatz Eye to get that up to 18. Intelligence is 11, so when I do use the eye, the 11 goes down to 10. I don't have any penalties. Dexterity and constitution at 14 each, because that's a good base to have, and then remaining points into strength. Alright, at level 2, we're not going to take Agonizing Blast. It's almost blasphemous for me to say that. We're going to take Armor of Shadows because we're eventually going to be getting out of our leather armor, and we will be wearing a robe. So Mage Armor is going to be giving us our armor class. And then we're going to take Fiendish Vigor so we can cast False Life on ourselves, probably after most battles, because we will be getting damage every single battle. And then for your other spell, up to you. I'm going to pick Hellish Rebuke again. And at level 3, we are given the Pact Boon, Pact of the Chain. As for spells, it doesn't really matter what you pick, whatever you like. I like Shatter, for example. And I'm going to replace Armor of Agathis with Misty Step, because I like Misty Step. Also, for a nice little bonus, do pick up the Gloves of Power, and if you don't mind being branded by True Soul Gut, put them on your Warlock. But don't equip them now. At level 4, you get a choice of a new cantrip. I've already got friends from being a half high elf. I wouldn't use Mage Hand because we have the imp anyway, so pick either Minor Illusion or Chill Touch. I'm going to go with Chill Touch. For your spells, whatever you prefer. Mirror Image could be a good choice. Scorching Ray is a good choice. I'm going to go with that. Invisibility, if you haven't got it in your party already. As for the feat, if you picked up the Ersatz Eye, I'd say you probably got one of two choices. Either make Charisma up to 20. I'll get +1 from the Ersatz Eye. Or, since we are going to be taking some damage ourselves, Tough wouldn't be such a bad choice either. I'm going to take Tough just to show a slightly different build to my previous Warlock video. I'm not going to go for 20 Charisma, but I would certainly say that 20 Charisma is actually still a good idea though. One of the items we need is in the Whispering Depths underneath the Blighted village. Now, if you don't want to go through one of the front entrances to the village, there is a slightly hidden side entrance. Jump up to here, we can climb some vines, or knotted roots, and here we are without having to go past any goblins. There's no particular need for this, it's just in the off chance that you don't know that it's here. To get down into the Whispering Depths, you can destroy this web. It's probably a good idea to have somebody cast Featherfall. Might be easier to go into tactical mode, and then we can jump down. And everyone should follow. Once we are here, you can get somebody to destroy this wall. Normally Gale has got a staff equipped, and the wall is vulnerable to staff damage, bludgeoning damage. Also, since we're in here, you can come up this ladder. A couple of chests. This wooden trunk has a random weapon inside. This time I've got a pike, not so useful. Oh, it's very heavy, that pike. And then,
my faith will guide me.
Since I've got Shadowheart here, and Astarion. Let's unlock this lock. Oops, gonna have to try again. Unlock this lock. Let's unlock this lock. There we are. And this might be useful for somebody in your party. Short sword +1. So come through this broken wall. We're going to get the Poisoner's Robe. So I will show you how to get there. I'm going to skip through the fights, but I'll show you how to get there. So I've cleared out all the little beasties down in here. A couple of phase spiders and ettercaps. Now the item we really want from down here is the loot from the Spider Matriarch. Now, she can be a bit of a difficult fight. I'm not going to show it in this video. If you do want me to show it in a video, do let me know in the comments. So here's the Phase Spider Matriarch, and on her she has the Poisoner's Robe. This is the reason we picked up Mage Armor earlier for the Warlock. So the Poisoner's Robe, when the wearer casts a spell that deals poison damage, it adds an additional 1d4 poison damage. This is why one of the cantrips we picked up was Poison Spray, because if we manage to use it, then it will do an extra 1d4 damage, but this isn't going to be the main focus of the damage output. Also, while you're down here, don't forget to pick up the Dark Amethyst if you want to use the Necromancy Book of Thay. And also, while we're down here, we may as well pick up the Ancient Rune Circle. We will want to be going into the Goblin Camp, and if you want to waltz on past, now is the time to use Detect Thoughts. Shadowheart comes with a scroll of it. There we are. Detect Thoughts. Read the Goblin's mind. We get a chance. Let's hope it works.
This better not be Minthara's messenger.
And after using Detect Thoughts, you get a new option here. That will just let you through. We're just going to try and waltz on in, walk on in, into the camp. Don't worry about fighting anyone. And if you're quick enough with Detect Thoughts still going, it's actually going to come in useful inside this door here as well. If you're very quick, there's not much time to spare. We're going to make it maybe.
As the symbol glows,
there we are, Detect Thoughts, Probe Thoughts. It's not automatic, we do have to pass a skill roll, but Shadowheart can give us guidance. And then option number 1, say whoever you want, doesn't really matter. We're in here for several reasons. One, the first reason is to go and get branded. So we're going to go speak to True Soul Gut with our Warlock, who's going to be wearing the Gloves of Power. I assume this mark has a purpose. Hold out your hand. Sever the connection just to be quick. And now, just to show you, we are branded. So it is possible for us to put these gloves on. Now that's not the only reason we're here. We also really want to come and pick up a certain ring. Come up these stairs. The ring is a ring of poison resistance. Now before you go there, maybe you want to go speak to Abdurak. Get Leviathar's weapons, Leviathar's blessing, such as this ritual dagger. If you want to go learn more about that, go watch my other Warlock build video. But I'm going to skip that process in this video for now. And in this skeleton here, on this skeleton here, we've got the ring of poison resistance. Now, if like me, you forgot to speak to Volo in the Druid's camp, this is your chance to get the Ersatz Eye. If you don't want Volo to be in your camp, that is. There he is. So get his eye. I'm going to give this to the Warlock. This is why I gave the Warlock intelligence of 11, so that she doesn't suffer any bonuses with anything to do with intelligence. So she's selected. There we are. So now our wisdom is 18. The final location we need to go to is actually down to the Hag's Lair. Interestingly here, I didn't know this was going to happen. My character's a half-elf, but I've got a choice for a human dialogue option. If you can kill her here, it might actually be easier, because all we really want to do is get to her treasure room. Though I've got some red caps incoming. Oops. So I dispatched Auntie Ethel and 2 of the red caps. The rest of us just ran down into here.
You are as this.
Now, if you're impatient like me and just want treasure, just leave Mayrina in there, because that's not why we're here. We are here to be picking up a particular staff known as the Staff of Crones, which lets us cast Ray of Sickness. However, the problem with using this, which is why we've got poison resistance and tough, and we've taken the false life invocation. Let's say it at a start. What can happen is that what happened here is we took some damage. So PoisTav, blasted PoisTav for 2 poison damage. Every time you use this on a creature, you get 2d4 poison damage done to you, which is why we need the Ring of Poison Resistance, and these temporary hit points will help us. However, we are going to be doing a little bit of extra damage because of our Poisoner's Robe. Let's see if I can hit Gale. Apparently I can't, but even when you miss, right, you still take some damage, but it is halved because of the Ring of Poison Resistance. And the thing about this is it doesn't use any spell slots, but it does use up your hit points. There we are. 4 damage and 11 damage. That was fairly lucky, I would say. 11 on 2d8, 4 on 1d4. Also poisoned Gale, which means he now has, let's just go look at him, disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks. And if you're lucky, you might even get the Gloves of Power, giving Bane to an enemy as well. Let's go check this out on a few different enemies. Also, if you have Shadowheart in your group, or any cleric for that matter, you can give yourself 5 more hit points. So our Warlock here has 44 hit points, plus 7 from False Life, so 51 hit points to begin with, which should be more than enough. And after every battle, you can cast False Life again to give yourself 7 more temporary hit points. Or you can even do it during a battle, but it takes your action. So I've come back outside to finish off the 2 red caps. Now they're not aggressive towards me for some reason, don't really know why. One really nice thing about Ray of Sickness is that it is a ranged attack roll. So we can give ourselves advantage in all the usual ways. So what just happened to this guy? Surprise, passed his saving throws though, but received 1 extra damage from the robe, 3 poison damage, which is a bit unlucky. Then passed its saving throw against the secondary effect of becoming poisoned, and PoisTav was only hit for 1, that was lucky, 1 damage. This is why we have the Ring of Poison Resistance. This other red cap is still surprised. That 14 damage, failed a saving throw. So now they are poisoned and have disadvantage on attack rolls. So this build is not just half decent for damage, but also really good for debuffing the enemy. Now you might come across a time where an enemy is very close, and you have the option of using Poison Spray instead. However, the chance is only 45% because the red cap's constitution is high. You could use Ray of Sickness still, only 49% chance. But one thing to keep in mind is the enemy has disadvantage on attack rolls. So you can risk, don't know if it'll work, right? You can risk running away because of that disadvantage. Blast them from there, or if you're being a bit sneaky, go out of their vision cone and have advantage instead. Finish them off. But there will be times like here where you will take 4 damage. And at the end of the fight, I've lost all my temporary hit points, but can continuously cast False Life after every fight. One flaw in this build though is that the main output of damage relies on poison damage, and there are a fair few enemies that are resistant to poison damage. However, that's why we picked up Hex right at the beginning to help bolster our damage with necrotic damage instead. So I'm going to try and show you an attack with Hex. Obviously the Woodbows are vulnerable to fire damage, so Scorching Ray might be a better choice here. By doing this, don't use up an additional spell slot. There we are. How much damage did we do? 13 from the attack. They are now poisoned because they failed the Constitution saving throw. A bit of extra damage from the robes. So again, the poisoned creature is right next to me. So I'm just going to risk walking away. It won't always work, by the way. You can still get hit. And now with Invoke Duplicity here, I've got advantage on this guy. Another hit. 6, 4, and 1. That's just a bit unlucky, really. A 1 and 1d4, or 6 and 1d6. Wow, 4 and 2d8. So 11 damage. Still poisoned. Fairly happy with that. Now this does still work with the Potion of Speed, so we can if we wish to. As with pretty much any build. Get 2 actions. So we can get 2 attempts. That was a nice roll there. 8, 6, and 3, 17 damage. And now that's 1 less enemy. So let me know what you think of the build. What would you add to this? How would you change it? Hopefully you've learned something new. If you've watched it this far, please consider subscribing. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.